If you were walking alone through an ancient forest and something hidden in the trees called out your name, your real name, would you turn around? In southern China, there's an old warning. If you hear your name in the deep mountains, don't look back. Because the thing calling you isn't human. It looks almost human. It walks on two legs like you do, and it knows who you are. They called it the Xing Xing. This is the classic of mountains and seas, the oldest bestiary ever written, and this creature is where it all begins. Before we meet this creature, you need to understand what kind of book we're dealing with. The Shanhaijing, the classic of mountains and seas, is over 2,500 years old. It's not a novel. It's not a religious text. It's not even a mythology book, at least not in the way we usually think of one. It reads more like a field guide, written by people who genuinely believed they were documenting the real world. It surveys mountains, one peak at a time, and catalogs everything found there. The minerals, the plants, the animals, the strange creatures. And for each one, it asks the same question. What can this do for you? Can you eat it? Will it cure a disease? Will it give you power or kill you? The Shanhaijing is a survival manual for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe one that never did. And the very first mountain it describes is where our creature lives. The first of the mountains of the south is called Mount Zhaoyao. It stands on the shore of the Western Sea. Of all the mountains in all the world, the book chose to begin here, at the edge of everything known. In ancient Chinese cosmology, the West is the direction of mystery, of the setting sun, of the boundary between the living world and whatever lies beyond. The very first line is a warning. We are stepping beyond the familiar. And Mount Zhaoyao is rich, impossibly rich. The text says the mountain is covered in osmanthus trees, the same fragrant tree associated with the moon in Chinese mythology. Imagine the sea wind blowing through and a rain of golden blossoms filling the air. Beneath the roots, veins of gold on one side, jade on the other. This mountain practically glows, but the real treasures aren't the minerals. They're alive. There's a grass called zhuyu. Eat it, and you'll never feel hunger again. There's a tree called megi. Its flowers shine so brightly, they illuminate everything around them. Carry a piece of it, and you'll never lose your way. A plant that kills hunger. A tree that prevents you from getting lost. These aren't just fantasy. They're answers to the two greatest fears of any ancient traveler: starvation and disorientation. This mountain has already solved the problems of human survival. And then there's the beast. There is a beast here. It looks like a macaque with white ears. It crawls on all fours, but can also walk upright like a human. Let's unpack this the way an ancient reader would have. First, it looks like a yu, a macaque, a primate already known to the Chinese. So it's recognizable, but it's different enough to need its own name. The white ears, that's the signature. In the Shanhaijing, every creature gets one or two details that set it apart. The white ears are what tell you this is not an ordinary ape, but the truly unsettling part is how it moves. Fuxing Renzu, it crawls on all fours like an animal, but when it chooses, it stands up and walks like you. Now picture this. You're in a dense forest. You see a monkey in the distance. Nothing unusual. But then it rises to its feet, straightens its back, and starts walking toward you, step by step, like a person. There's a term for this feeling in modern psychology, the uncanny valley. The closer something gets to looking human without actually being human, the more deeply it disturbs us. 3,000 years before that concept had a name, the Shanhaijing already knew it. But the Xing Xing isn't just eerie. Later texts reveal something even more remarkable. This creature can speak. It can call out human names, your name. And according to ancient sources, it knows the past. It remembers everything that has happened before. An animal that walks like us, speaks like us, and remembers our history. What could possibly go wrong? Here's where the story takes a turn that no one expects. For all its intelligence, the Xing Xing has a fatal weakness. It is hopelessly, catastrophically addicted to wine. Ancient hunters in southern China figured this out, and they devised one of the most ironic traps in all of mythology. The method was simple. Find a path where the Xing Xing travel, set out jars of sweet wine, lids open so the aroma drifts through the forest. Next to the wine, place pairs of straw sandals, the kind humans wear, all tied together with rope. Then hide and wait. The Xing Xing arrive. They travel in groups, sometimes dozens strong. And here's the remarkable part. They see right through it. The elders among them point at the jars and screech in fury. And then, they do something no animal should be able to do. According to ancient texts, they call out the hunters by name. Real names, full names. Zhang San, Li Si, the Chinese equivalents of calling out, "I know who you are, Tom. I see you hiding there, Jack." They curse the hunters. They mock the trap. "You think you can fool us with your wine? We know what you did to the others. We're leaving." They know it's a trap. They know who set it. They remember every Xing Xing that was caught before and never came back. They turn to leave. But the scent follows them. One of them slows down, looks back, thinks, "Just one sip, I can handle it." It returns, takes a small taste. The rice wine is warm and sweet, with just a hint of bite. One sip becomes two become 10, and then the rest follow. Before long, the whole group is drunk. They're swaying, stumbling, trying on the sandals like children playing dress-up, mimicking human walking, except their feet are now tangled in the ropes. The hunters step out from the trees. Not a single Xing Xing can run. The creatures that knew every name, remembered every danger, saw through every trick, undone by a jar of wine and the desire to walk in human shoes. There's a line from an ancient Chinese text that haunts me. It says the Xing Xing knows the past but cannot know the future. It can recall every lesson, every warning, every mistake, but it cannot resist what's right in front of it. The ancient Chinese had a name for this. They called it the sickness of knowing, the curse of seeing the danger clearly and walking toward it anyway. History is full of Xing Xing moments. The last king of the Shang dynasty, a man of extraordinary intelligence, who drowned his kingdom in a pool of wine. Generals who studied every defeat of those who came before them, then made the exact same mistakes when glory was within reach. Merchants who knew the seas were treacherous, yet loaded one more crate of treasure onto the ship, because surely this time would be different. The 4th century scholar Guo Pu wrote a commentary on the Xing Xing that cuts to the bone. He said, "This creature has the wisdom to see through every human trick, yet it falls to ruin because it cannot master its own desires." And then he added 3 words that change the meaning of the entire story. "This is self-inflicted." The Xing Xing is a mirror. It walks like us. It speaks like us. It even reasons like us. But where we draw the line between human and animal, the Shanhaijing suggests, is not in intelligence. It's in the ability to say no. And if that's the test, the Xing Xing isn't the only one who fails it. Here's one last twist. The creature's name, Xing Xing, didn't die with the myth. It's alive in the Chinese language right now. Today, the Mandarin word for orangutan is Xing Xing. Same pronunciation, different characters. When Chinese travelers first encountered real great apes through ancient trade routes, they reached for the word they already had, the Shanhaijing word for a creature that looks like an ape but walks like a human. A word born on a mythical mountain at the edge of the Western Sea 3,000 years ago is still spoken today by every Chinese-speaking family that has ever taken their child to the zoo. The Xing Xing of legend may have been inspired by a real primate, perhaps an ancient species in southern China's forests, long since vanished. Or perhaps it was always a story about what happens when intelligence meets desire, and desire wins. We may never know, but the name endured, and so did the warning. Asterisk. The Xing Xing is the first beast of the first mountain of the first chapter of the Shanhaijing. It's where everything begins. A mountain of gold and jade, trees that glow and grasses that banish hunger, and a creature that sits on the boundary between animal and human, wise enough to know every trap, yet helpless before its own appetites. But Mount Zhaoyao is only the first peak. The Southern Mountain Classic alone describes dozens more. And beyond the south, there are the seas, the wastelands, the lands within the ocean, each hiding their own impossible creatures, their own ancient warnings. This is the Shanhaijing, and we've only just opened the first page. Next time, we travel 300 miles east to a mountain where the trees are made of crystal and something far stranger awaits.